The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from Dallas Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Yeomans.
Welcome to Talkin Cowboys. We are live from training camp in Oxnard, California. I'm here with Patrik Walker. I'm here with Tommy Yarrish, and we have a very special guest, one Mr. Fourth and Long, Jesse Holley of Dallas Cowboys fame, of Hanging with the Boys fame.
Thank you.
Of fame.
Thank you.
Famous man. Thank you so much for joining us. Famous man in that you just attended the Netflix premiere of America's Team, the Gambler and his Cowboys, last night in Los Angeles, California. How was his experience? And also, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys having me on. You know, it's always a pleasure to be around greatness. So I appreciate that I'm able to sit here with you.
You're the one presenting the greatness.
I'm what you fine gentlemen today.
Greatness among greatness.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Greatness hangs together.
Yes.
You know what I like about this though? It's no I and no C.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Jesse,
no I.
Yeah, no I.
No C. Josh, no J. Work that out.
Well,
it's a soft J.
It's more like a soft. It's a soft J.
The J is silent, hillbilly.
It's a soft J. Yeah, man. Went to the premiere last night and
Got suited up?
I did. I brought out the good.
No sneakers with your suit, huh?
No sneakers ever with the suit.
I like it.
Ever. Hard bottom.
A gentleman.
Never.
A
Come on.
gentleman.
Oh, you know what? I think I saw you railing against that on Twitter.
Yeah, never. But
Come on.
I'm of the age. We wear hard bottoms with suits.
But you gotta balance it.
No.
I do both.
No.
It depends on the mood.
When I go, and I got on Tommy about this. I got on young Tommy about this.
You sure did.
I got on young Tommy about this because Tommy decided to wear sneakers night one of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
I'm not
That's
going.
that white boy swag, man.
I'm
Give him
not,
a break.
I'm not. No, I'm not going to a premiere on the red/blue carpet
Okay.
of this caliber in LA, and put on
Roman's
one of
Chinese
my
Theater.
good tailor suits with a pair of sneakers. No way.
But if it matches the suit,
my
then
shoes match my suit.
That's what I'm saying. If your
Yeah.
shoes match the suit.
No.
it
My
doesn't
hard
matter if
bottom
it's hard
shoe.
What was
bottoms
the
or
shoe
not.
choice? Was it Stacy's or
No, this was a pair of Marc Jacobs. This was a pair of Marc Jacobs.
Oh, my man.
It was a pair of
My
Marc
man.
Jacobs wing.
Put up
This
this
is a pair of Marc
Talk
Jacobs
about
wing.
blue magic.
Yeah, this was a pair of
My
Marc
man.
Jacobs wingtips. So yeah. I had on the olive green custom.
Okay.
You know,
We need pics. Did you drop pics?
There's some videos
We'll
out there.
find them. We'll find them.
Yeah.
Find them. Tell me
But
how we
We'll look
Man.
at all AP images. We got some red carpet photos.
Yeah,
But man,
What was the fragrance of choice?
Getty.
the fragrance of choice last night was what was the fragrance? Oh, it was because I have these little travel things. You should get this. I know that everybody had like the big cologne bottles. You can't travel of them, but if you go, they have these small little ones where you pump it.
Yeah.
You pump the cologne into it, and I think last night was
man of
YSL.
Ooh, the
YSL.
Yves Saint Laurent.
Yeah, the YSL.
Man of
East side
culture.
La Home.
We were just talking about that because
Yeah.
Josh.
I got some.
Yeah, Josh got a bottle of that.
Yeah. You had the black top, the black bottle.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we were good.
I
Yeah,
had the red bottle too.
Don't even
worry
get
about
us
it.
started.
Yeah,
Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
Start
But,
talking Armani's and
Yeah.
There was a ball.
Paco,
Yeah, we'll
was
go.
there.
We'll
Yeah,
go
we'll
Boston.
go.
We'll go all
We'll
day
go.
long. The thing that I came away with, like literally, was my exact words to John Machota and Clarence Hill was, "Damn, he's done it again." And if you all remember, like Snoop Dogg had something where he was like, "This don't miss." And that's what I took away from that last night. And I said this on an earlier show. If you know me, I am not a carrier of water. I am not a company man. I say what I want, how I want, when I want,
facts.
and I deal with the consequences as they come.
That's facts.
It was incredible.
Okay.
It was incredible.
Okay.
Bro, like I'm telling you, this was the cinematography of this. We got a chance to watch 10 minutes of the episode 1 and then the full episode 3 last night. And when I tell you the way that they constructed this, And because this episode 3 takes place in the 1992 NFC Championship game against the 49ers. Yeah. Right? Now, if you are a Cowboy fan,
then you know.
You know.
Then you know.
But it was something about the way that you had features from Bill Romanowski, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Charles Haley, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Eddie Lombardo, I mean, you had
heavyweight,
and so you're having this two-sided perspective of how this game is being broken down. Okay. You're hearing what Steve Young has to say. You're hearing what Michael Irvin has to say. You're hearing, the mix between Charles Haley being a Niner, being a Cowboy. You're hearing Emmitt Smith. You're hearing Bill Romanowski. You're hearing Jerry Rice and how much this rivalry kind of meant. And the Niners were the team of that era, coming out of the 80s into the 90s, and the Cowboys were this upstart team. And then while you're in all of this and you're in this battle, right, it cuts away and it goes back to the 1960s where Jerry were in Arkansas, right, as a football player, and then he tells a story about borrowing $800,000 for a well and that well being worth $100 million, and then it tells stories about he almost got into bed with, not figuratively, but in the business with Hoffa, right, and how his dad talked him off that, and how he was a shoe salesman and owned pizza shops and sold mobile homes and all that kind of stuff, and how him and Jimmy Johnson, and then it cuts back.
Then it brings you back.
And then it goes back into talking about, his time on his, with his dad and on the ranch and stuff like that. The way that this was done, absolutely. And again, I knew the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
It
still had you locked in.
It's still I'm sitting, and I don't know if this was the movie theater feel, but I was on the edge of my seat.
Of course.
I was on the edge of my seat.
You know what they call it, right? Cinema.
Yes.
Absolutely.
To know the results, to know the people that happened to intimately, and still, I'm like, wait, they break the huddle, and Michael takes Alvin Harper's route, and Harper takes Michael's route, and they hear Troy Aikman break it down, right? Like he talks about the play that they ran and how they broke the huddle and how Michael said it and all that kind of stuff, and how Troy's like, I'm at the line of scrimmage and I'm looking, and he's looking across and looking at the defense, and he's like, this ain't going to Michael. Like, he's looking around, he's like, this Bang 8's going to be open, right? And he's like, I know I want to go to Michael. And he says, do I trust Alvin Harper in this moment? This is from the mouth of Troy Aikman. Yeah. He's saying, do I trust Alvin Harper in this moment? But he's like, Michael ain't open. And he throws it to Alvin. And let me also say this. I ain't the only one that got ran down in San Francisco. They want to put that out there.
No.
I just want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there.
Don't do Harp like that.
I just want to put that out there.
Oh, okay.
I just want to put that out
there.
Shut it
down.
I just want to put that down. I ain't the only one.
Oh, my God.
I ain't the only one that got, Paul sucked up.
I think for both y'all, it was the socks.
It might have been. It was a hot day. I'm just saying, shout out to Alvin Harper. What a hell of a play.
Did you dirty, Harp.
I ain't the only one. I felt vindicated. Like I said, wait a second. Wait a minute.
It'd be your own people.
I run down too.
Be your own people.
So I'm just saying.
Be your own people.
But it was phenomenal. I mean, if you know anything about Jerry Jones and how to throw a party and the Netflix people, how they did that last night, chef kiss.
Is there another team in the NFL that could do this
Green
to
Bay.
this level? To this level of cinema and have this much drama and intrigue?
No.
And I just
maybe
don't think
the
there
Yankees.
Is. I'm biased.
Well,
and I'm
he's saying
preaching
in
football.
NFL or in sports period?
In sports period?
Sports period?
No, in the NFL.
No, not in my opinion.
I think with the right editors and producers, a team like Green Bay could probably pull that. I mean, if bias
maybe
aside,
that's how I feel about
seriously, bias aside.
Maybe
so
the Patriots.
football.
Maybe, I was going to say maybe the
as
Patriots.
far as being a
during the
football
Brady run,
historian,
but that would be
being a
it.
football historian, I really think
have-
Green Bay could pull that.
Those
off.
have kind of split up because the Man in the Arena, Tom Brady's documentary, that was a really well produced series, and that kind of covered the same topics. I don't think that, as good as that documentary was, I don't know that there's going to be that same level of like I said, intrigue and salacious information going on behind the scenes. Like it is just a drama filled.
Well, that's
thrill
fair,
ride.
which means we have to leave the NFL. So I go Yankees on that. I agree with that. I think Yankees.
Or Lakers.
Absolutely.
Lakers would be.
Absolutely.
I mean, Last Dance, Chicago Bulls.
And let me also
So
say
what are we
this.
doing?
What are we doing?
doing?
Let me also say this, because I know I've seen it already on social media, and it's comical to me. It doesn't really make me any difference. But I want people to understand that what happened last night, yes, the Jones family attended. Yes, the Jones family was a part of it. This wasn't a Jerry Jones production.
Okay.
This was a Netflix event.
Okay.
This isn't, so don't people come at you like, I don't care, he's focused on this. No.
It's not corporate focus.
This was, hence why it was done here in California,
right,
because Netflix, and I was talking to the people that were involved in all of this last night, and it was like, nah, this is a Netflix thing. Netflix wants to make sure that this is getting seen. Football fans are going to watch it, right? Like, football people will watch this. But Netflix is not in the business of football fans. Netflix is in the business of people.
Human beings.
Mm-hmm. Human beings. So, last night you saw a lot of different, like, influencers and people of that ilk, because it was like, we get, the Cowboy fans are going to watch. Well, some of them. Some of you don't watch. Makes me no difference. I don't give a damn what you watch. But the football fan will watch. The Cowboy fan will watch. But it's how do we bring in that other Netflix audience that are looking for a documentary, that are looking for a series. And so all of this was set up and done by Netflix. This wasn't Jerry Jones saying, I want to have this premiere. This was a Netflix saying, we have to sell a product.
Absolutely.
And so just want to put that out there. I was talking to some people last night about that.
Well, we're all really excited to see it. We're also really excited to see the next Deep Blue, which premieres this Thursday, called The Wall 2.0,
Yes, indeed.
produced by yours truly. Please check that out on DallasCowboys.com.
Nice.
And it's about Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and Travis Frederick.
Shameless,
their
well-deserved
line
plug.
that very much highlights 2014, 2016, and just the incredible runs that those lines went on. But moving off of that, we have a football game to talk about. This is our first football game of the season to talk about here on Talkin Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, Los Angeles Rams, preseason in SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, or I guess in Inglewood. Boys, what were your first reactions coming out of the game?
Well, in Inglewood, you're always up to no good, and I think there was a lot of no good.
Yeah, I like it,
This
dude.
is y'all guy.
That's my guy right there.
I was wondering who would do it.
Is that bad?
I was wondering who was
I thought it was pretty
do it.
good. I thought it was a good segue. All right.
I was wondering.
Well, while they clown
No, I
me,
know.
I'll say, look, you don't want to put too much stock into one preseason game, right? I think you have to kind of balance out knowing the fact that these guys had 37 guys sit out, 27 of which would probably be starting caliber players or guys who are getting reps with the ones when we get to September 4th. But at the same time, you look at how this team played against the run, and I thought, when I watched the game back, I don't know if you guys saw the same thing, but I thought the defensive tackles, not that they had a great day, I thought they did better than I initially thought. And I think really where I saw the defense struggle against the run was the linebackers weren't filling their gaps correctly sometimes. And,
Especially that second half, for sure.
yeah, and it's, maybe they're just missing their assignments here and there. But so the run defense, 181 yards. You would hope that with a guy like Matt Eberflus leading this defense, and one of his staples over the course of his career being very good against the run, that you see a little bit better of an effort there. But again, you look at this defensive line and these defensive tackles specifically, they're young guys who haven't gotten a lot of snaps. Jay D'Elia, Tommy Yarrish, Ernest Brown, guys who just haven't really played a lot of football. And so you have to bring that all into account. And then offensively, we got the full Joe Milton experience, fellas. It was the roller coaster that it is. There's highs, there's lows. I think there were a lot more lows, and I think that you got to settle him in, right? You got to make sure that you make the easy plays to start things off. And I think 6 straight passing plays, maybe you do the quick pass or the handoff here to just kind of get him settled into the game, and you could tell the nerves are kind of getting to him, and you see some of those balls sail. So overall, I think a good learning experience for a lot of these young players.
For me, I'll start on the defensive side of the ball as well. And I've said this on Camping Out on Sunday evening. For me, it's about analyzing it with the correct context. Okay, so my level of concern, like with the run defense for right now, is not at the moment with the Osas and the Solomon Thomases of the world, because we haven't seen them yet. We'll see them week 1, and then we'll assess that from there. My problem is I'm still concerned about this depth. Right? Injuries happen. The Cowboys were ravaged by injuries last season, and we saw that the depth could not step up and hold fort. Right? When you look at the run defense issues against the Rams, Blake Corum was having basically, a day against them, which then allowed Stetson Bennett to have a day both on the ground and in the air. And then the coverage in the secondary, I'll say it again. The cornerbacks group has been the most concerning portion coming into training camp and throughout training camp. A large part of that is due to injury. Talking about Trevon Diggs. You don't know what Savon Revel is going to be quite yet when he comes back from NFI. Don't have Josh Butler. Kalen Carson has battled injury already in camp. He came back, but we'll see. You got Kyer Elam, but I didn't get to see Kyer Elam on Saturday. We'll see if we get to see him against the Raiders. But the other guys, Zion Childress, for the most part, notwithstanding, and Israel Mukwamu having the highlight play of the game, arguably. Outside of those, a couple of spots, the coverage got exposed in a lot of ways. The secondary got exposed in a lot of ways. I have concerns there. I don't have a concern about Maris Leofau. You mentioned how things kind of opened up a little bit more in the defense, in the middle of that defense in the second half. Who didn't play in the second half? Maris got pulled at halftime, rightfully so. He was the bright spot. Perry and Winfrey had some moments, some positive moments. Ernest Brown had a positive moment here or there, but I also saw him get kind of washed out a couple of times. That's concerning for a nose tackle. But then you flip to the offensive side of the ball, and like Tommy said, you got the full Joe Milton experience. Unfortunately, it was more bad than good, and what I respect about that young man is I walked out of that stadium feeling like it was a D. His grade was a D. So then to see him grade himself as a D-, okay, now you're talking about a man with accountability, and you can begin building from that.
Accountability, self-reflection.
Yeah, absolutely. You can build from that, and that's what I love about it. But did he struggle? Absolutely he did. And I see what Tommy is saying as far as, 6 straight pass plays, maybe do some quick outlets. But if you go back and look at it, some of those overthrows were to the flats. Right, he just simply couldn't settle down until the second quarter, and then when he did get the ball moving, self-inflicted wounds, they showed up again, Jesse. Penalties. And then he got out of sorts again in the third quarter. I mean, we're talking about a breakout game from Ryan Flanoy if Milton can just find the touch on some of those passes. So shouts out to him for battling through it. Shouts out to Will Greer for taking advantage of limited reps. Malik Davis for taking advantage of limited reps. There's some positive to take away from the Rams, but there's a lot of concerns also.
For me, and both of you guys had fantastic points. I was on the sideline. Like, I looked at the sideline. I wanted to see, all right, Brian Schottenheimer, okay? This is your debut, so to speak, of being a head coach of this football team. I don't think you shined. I don't think Brian Schottenheimer shined. Because even coming into that game, if your game plan was, and I've said this multiple times, when I look at a man, I look at his words and his actions. Yeah. Do they match? Do they match? And you've been telling us at every moment when you set up these podiums that this football team is going to be a physical, running football team. Then you get into the first opportunity. Well, I'll take it back. I thought you showed your hand a little bit in the scout in the practice when you go, I got mad.
Yeah, he got pissed off.
I got pissed off, so I threw a bomb. Whoa, hold on now, coach. Attitude reflects leadership here. I need you to be calm, composed, and collected at all times, right? Like, I can't have you getting upset and being all of a sudden like,
reacting emotionally.
Throw it. Now, I get it. Now, when you sit back and if there's one thing I know that Brian Schottenheimer can lay his head down at night and know, if push comes to shove, when it's time to go, I got 4, I got 88, I got 3, and 87.
Yeah, and there you go.
I don't give a damn what the defense says.
And there you go.
Because you got Jimmy's and Joe that's going to beat any Jimmy and Joe and any. We've seen it. We've
seen
about
it. 9 either, though.
We've seen it. And you can sprinkle them in there, but I'm talking about for sure.
Guys.
9 is here and there.
Yeah.
88, 3, 4,
and 87.
And 87. Book it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I looked at when he came into this game and he opened up the press account in his media portion of the game in the pregame and said, "Yeah, we're gonna stick it around the park." Like, did you become a fan of Joe Milton, or you forgot that you were a coach of Joe Milton? Because I just thought like, you didn't do Joe Milton any favors. You know what this player is. You've been around this game far too long to know this guy isn't the most accurate guy. He's a young guy, doesn't have much football starts underneath him. Let me settle the young fella. Let me give him an easy throw. let me hand it off. Like, you talk about most of the time, it's like, hey, let's boot and just let him see, in basketball, they say when you're not shooting well, get to the free throw line. I just need to see the ball go in the basket.
Right.
Let me boot him out and just let him dump it off to the tight end or dump it off to the flat and just get a completion.
Couple layups.
Get on the hot streak first.
Right? Like let him see the ball go in the basket. I just didn't think the way he opened up, and then from there you were chasing. Once those first two series didn't go well, I then felt like you were chasing a little bit, and then you found a rhythm in the second half. And then on the defensive side, with Matt Eberflus, are you going to give us answers to our concerns? And you talked about the depth. And the one thing about a defensive line, unlike an offensive line, is the offensive line, there is no rotation.
Right, exactly.
Unless a guy is hurt, he's in there.
Yeah.
There is no rotation. And so the guys that we saw in that game, a lot of those guys are going to be in the rotation.
You're going to see.
Right? Like a lot of those guys, defensive linemen don't play 60 snaps. Right? Like the big boys don't play that. They'll play 20, they'll play 30. And there's some other guys that get in there. So I'm looking at, okay, what happens when those guys have to go in there? How much of a fall off is that?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Like how much do we lose when, we don't even really have a big guy in the front that we can really depend on, but what happens when that doesn't work? Right? When will we have Micah back in there? So that's kind of stuff I looked at from the sideline. I was like, for the debut of these two guys, it left much to be desired and a lot of questions still at hand on what this football team's identity is, what this football team's culture is going to be, and hopefully we get answers to that sooner rather than later.
Well, real quick, I'll say this, and I'll throw it to you, Josh. For the second time in 4 days, we saw the Cowboys get out physical. First being the scrimmage against the Rams, the second being the preseason game against the Rams.
That's fair. Another point to that, though, is the unknown of it all. And Brian Schottenheimer was talking about Joe Milton yesterday, and the reason why he was playing so many snaps is they know Will Grier. They don't know Joe Milton in a game. Exactly. They haven't seen him in this system out there on the field. When we come back, we need to talk more about what we know now in terms of Joe Milton. We will take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed, like getting through self-checkout by yourself.
Warning, each item must be placed in the bagging area.
Not guaranteed.
Place item in the bagging area. Place item in the bagging area.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, deals you want, and service you deserve. Or we make it right. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
We're with you. We're united. If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner. With over $9 billion in business loans and more than 140 business specialists right here in North Texas, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talkin Cowboys live from training camp in Oxnard, California. This segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. I almost said something about some other breakfast food that we used to do a read on. Anyways, boys.
They didn't pay the bill.
They didn't pay the bill. That's why they don't get it. But Invisalign is the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys, if you didn't know. Guys, we got to know Joe a little bit in this preseason game. He got to play the first and most of the second half. Schottenheimer was talking about it yesterday. It's like, we have him out there because we need to know who he is as a player on the field. You see him in practice. We've seen the throws that he can make. We've seen the throws that he can't make. And now you've got a bigger taste of what Joe Milton has been able to do on the field with the Cowboys. Can you kind of compare and contrast his first and second half? Because obviously it was slow going at first, 6 pass plays in a row, 3, I think it was 2 3-and-outs, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So what did you get to know about Joe Milton?
I mean, if I'm being honest, really not a lot. We still don't know about Joe Milton. Brian Schottenheimer said it yesterday. We don't know what we have in Joe Milton yet. We don't. We know what traits he has. We know he has a great arm. We know he can use his legs, and we know that we've seen him make touch passes here in training camp every once in a while. But we don't know what he is consistently. We don't know what he still needs. We know he still needs to work on, getting through his reads quicker and making decisions quicker, not holding the ball for forever in the backfield. But for the most part, we don't know because this guy has not played a lot of football. He just straight up hasn't. And especially at the NFL level, he's played 3 preseason games last year and 1 regular season game. So this is his 5th career NFL game. And it's not really shocking, I should say, to see just the inconsistency. And you mentioned the question being, what did you see first half, second half? Really not much different. It was inconsistent, and I think you saw him a little bit more relaxed and settled in the second half, but really not by much. You pick apart some of the good throws. I mean, you look at the pass to the corner of the end zone to Rivaldo Fairweather. That's a highlight, but then again, he had Flanoy going in the back corner on I think it was a slot fade, and he just overshoots him. He would have had a touchdown too. So it's still so much unknown, and there's still so much more refining that you need to do with Joe Milton to be confident in him being your backup quarterback. But the issue is there's 2 weeks until the preseason's over, and only a couple more after that until you open the year against Philadelphia. And if Dak Prescott goes down, can you count on him to win you a game?
And that's where I was going to go when it comes to Joe Milton, in that kind of circling back to Tommy's point about touch. This is something that coming into training camp I wanted to see. Not once or twice from Joe Milton. I needed to see it consistently, because until you can do it consistently, you're not telling me that you're ready for the next level, okay, or the next stage. We've seen him make some touch passes here in Oxnard, but we've also seen some of those passes sail. We saw far too few passes that required touch that actually had touch against the Rams in the preseason opener. We could talk about, Flanoy putting his defender in a blender with the double move, back pylon fade. Is right there for you. Just lay it up for him, okay? Deep middle crosser, wide open. Just lay it up for him. He makes those 2 throws. We're having a much different conversation about that young man right now. Unfortunately, he didn't. So when you look at that and you combine it with something that Jesse and I, we've talked about this, and Isaiah and I, we talked about this as well. One thing about Joe Milton is he's not going through his reads in the way that you would want him to go through his reads. If anything gets him off his first read, it feels like he either panics and he tries to bail, or he panics and he freezes. He holds the ball for too long, and now you're giving defenders an opportunity to get into that backfield, and you're already dealing with an offensive line that's trying to figure itself out right now. So between those 2 things, he needs to be a little bit more decisive. He needs to read the field a bit better, but also as strong as his arm is, and we all know how strong his arm is, I think he's over dependent on the strength of his arm. You don't always need to throw the fastball. The 101 mile an hour fastball to a guy running a slant is not necessary, right? Ryan Flanoy, deep middle crosser, you don't need the cannon there. You need the sweeping curve, right?
And this is a guy that they've harped on his throwing mechanics so much, and like how intelligent he is in terms of getting his footwork right and passing mechanics throughout camp. But you didn't necessarily see it in that preseason game. It's a level of concern because it's like you want him to be prepared enough in that moment. But another thing Shotty mentioned yesterday is that a lot of these guys were kind of forgetting the what they've learned up until this point and rely on instinct, which is kind of what you saw from Joe Milton.
And to that point, Josh, and I'm glad you segued it this way for me, there's also an aspect of Joe Milton, if you go back and look at the film, in lieu of anticipatory throws, he believes his cannon can force that ball into any window at any time, regardless if he's anticipating to throw or not. Not when you're playing under the lights at the NFL level. That's not how it works. You have to have anticipation as opposed to thinking that extra split second, oh, I can look off and come back here and I have the arm strength to do that. By that time, it's almost a pick. How many times did the Rams nearly intercept Joe Milton because of a situation like that? Instead of anticipating and seeing that and getting the ball to that spot, he glanced off for a second, came back, because in his head he's like, oh, I can get that throw in there. The linebacker, the secondary, they're like, not so much here, brother. So I would like to see those things improve. Was it all bad? Absolutely not. But there was more bad than good, and that's why I agree with his grade of himself as a D-.
Joe Milton is far away than we all would like him to be. And if I could put a Recky Specky out there and say, your backup quarterback ain't on this roster.
Wow.
Because think about it.
I think this coaching staff would disagree.
Think about it. Sure, they can. And that they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Because they believe in their skill set,
and
the
ones
guys
that
they brought
chose,
in.
right.
Cool.
Right.
I'm happy with that.
We like our guys.
But let's just, if we're thinking about this.
Emotional damage.
If we're thinking about this, right? And this is.
Yeah.
If something happens to 4, who are you putting out there?
Right now? Right now,
You
it'd
gotta
be
go Will Greer.
right now it'd be
Right?
Will Greer. Right
And
now.
Are we confident that Will Greer can go and win us 3, 4, 5 games?
I'm confident he can get you that one. And then from that one, now it's schematics from that one. After that one, it's schematics.
I just look at this and I go, when the roster start to be, broken down and players getting released, I would not be shocked if the Cowboys go out and bring in a veteran quarterback to be in this, especially now that you're able to keep the 4 quarterbacks and you have the emergency one. That still gives an opportunity for Joe Milton to be around and be developed. But you just don't want to go into this year with a bunch of it's one thing to have hope that a guy can do something, but when that hope is Atlantic Ocean size hope, that you can't go in with that much hope. That's not a strategy.
Can anything in the preseason games 2 and 3 change your mind about this?
No.
You feel if he has a substantially better performance in 2 and 3?
I don't think he will.
That's fair.
I'm looking at the player, and I'm looking at progression, right? All right, where have we been since we've started this thing? I'm talking about OTAs and mini camps and things of that nature, right? If we're still talking about the touch factor, if we're still talking about the anticipatory knowledge of how to break down progressions, right? And I tweeted this out. Shout out to the wide receivers, and I'm biased. Boy, they was out there running a lot of love for the game routes.
They were.
They were running a lot of for the love of the game routes.
A lot of TikTok routes.
A lot of routes out there. They just running because they're like, man, it ain't coming. The ball ain't gonna get here. You know what I'm saying? And that sucks because I'm trying to make a team.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a team, and I route this dude up, and I give him this business, and I'm wide open, and you sell it 10 yards over my head.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It's frustrating.
So it's a frustrating thing to look at, and when you see that, you're just like, well, that's a really easy throw. Now, you get 2 more chances at it. I don't think the progression has happened so much, and I think that it's going to take time to get Joe Milton off the mindset of, I have this bazooka arm, and so you see, I call it arrogant throws, right? You've watched Aaron Rodgers in his prime.
So you're about to say what I was saying. Yeah.
You've seen Patrick Mahomes and sometimes Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, the guys with the big arms, right? They have these arrogant throws, and sometimes it's like, hey, just because you can
doesn't mean you
don't mean you should.
Doesn't mean you should.
Right? And sometimes until you get that knowledge of what's happening, because sometimes we'll watch a game and we'll be like, ooh, you see that throw, that's the da-da-da. And I'm going, yeah, but the percentages says for every one time you complete it, you got to be knowledgeable enough to know I probably shouldn't go back to that water and well again. Right? But I watched that game in Joe Milton, and there should have been 2 pick sixes on his out routes.
I'm telling you.
2 that he threw well behind the receiver. That in a normal game is a pick 6.
Lucked out.
Against starting secondaries, that
you see what I'm saying? Those guys are walking in front of that like, thank you. and they're going the opposite way. So there's a lot of ground that needs to be covered by Joe Milton, and then also, because I heard Coach talk about it yesterday about them wanting to know more about Joe, which means we get to see less of Will Greer, which I think, damn, that's unfair, right? Because Will's like, I get it, but what happens? Right. What about me? We heard Cooper Rush say that a year ago, was like, hey, they gave Trey Lance all the snaps because they wanted to see what Trey Lance was, and I didn't get any. I need that too. Yeah. Like, I need to work too. I'm not getting a lot of reps in practice. Yeah. I need to make sure that my sword is still sharp when I go out there. Don't put me behind the 8 ball because he ain't showing you enough in practice week in and week out. Now let me get mine too, so that if you decide that I'm not a part of your equation anymore, I got something on film that someone else would like, and I can go out somewhere else.
Here's what I say. My mind can change based upon these next 2 games. Now, the angle that Jesse and I are looking at it are a bit differently. Jesse is saying he doesn't believe that Joe. Okay, fair enough, because he's going by the body of work and lack thereof to this point. I'm saying that if he proves Jesse wrong and balls out against the Raiders, for example, okay. That's my thought process. I'm like, okay. I see you, Joe. Now do it one more time in the finale, because, again, consistency is key. Going out and having one big game, that's great and all, but can you have 2?
But and I hear what you're saying. Yeah. You've been here since when?
July 20th.
You've seen every single practice,
20th.
Yes?
Yeah.
And what is the same thing that you
It's
asking?
the same.
Okay.
I'm seeing the same issue.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If he proves you wrong, then I'll be like, okay. So our points are attached. I see.
Right,
our points are attached.
Right, like, but we're hoping.
Yeah, we are hoping.
We're hoping.
But here's
in 2
also
weeks of work, in 2 weeks, that you'll ultimately
that it'll click.
That it'll click when I've seen a body of work since April.
That's true.
That says the same thing about you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we've said the same. I can go back and watch your show, my show, his show, that show, this show, and we're all going to say the same thing about Joe Milton.
And we're saying it right now today.
And you're saying in 2 weeks,
the biggest concern,
my mind changes?
Well, see, the biggest concern is, okay, let's say you were of the mindset that, the Cowboys should go ahead and bring in a more proven veteran. Okay, well, let me give you like 2 or 3 names that are in the free agency pool, and you tell me how much cringe is attached to these names when I say these names. Number 1, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's
okay. Jeff Driscoll.
Who? Exactly.
And I hate to do it, but I got to do it. Jake Fromm.
Louisville?
No, Georgia.
Oh, that's your boy. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, but just absolutely.
I think that makes a big point.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
They're not out there, is what I'm saying.
They're not.
But what happens when rosters break down?
No, that's different.
Right?
When we start talking waivers and people start falling off of rosters in about 2 weeks, that's a different conversation.
Tommy, I want to get your point before the break.
But here's the thing is, even when guys get off of rosters like you guys are mentioning, that's a good point. Is there going to be a guy that's on waivers that has veteran experience that this team doesn't have? Is there going to be someone better than the guys that Patrik just listed that you can feel confident in saying, okay, yeah, this guy can go win us a game? I like to trade for Joe Milton in the offseason. I didn't like that this team let Cooper Rush go. I think just the fact that he was so valuable the backup quarterback position as a whole is so valuable in today's NFL with how many injuries there are in the game now, that when you have a guy like that, it's a luxury. It's a luxury to have a guy that you can count on to go win you games. Is it cool, fun, sexy football? No, not all the time, but it doesn't matter. He won games for him when he needed to. He lost games for him too when he needed to as well. So there's
I was letting you finish your point, and I was going to say.
I'm not saying he's going to be your starter. I'm not saying he's going to be your starter, but he's been there and he's done that, and that's something that this team right now just doesn't have.
Cooper Rush in 24 was not what you wanted to re-sign.
One thing for certain,
but I'm just saying in terms of him being able to come in and at least steady the ship.
I'll give you that.
One thing for certain, 2 things for sure. 4 goes down, we're screwed. That's just what it is.
Stay up for. Pause.
Yeah. Yes.
Hopefully we do not have that issue. But when we come back, we need to discuss more Talkin Cowboys, more after this. We'll be right back.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed. Like getting through self-checkout by yourself.
Warning, each item must be placed in the bagging area.
Not guaranteed.
Place item in the bagging area. Place item in the bagging area.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, deals you want, and service you deserve. Or we make it right. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Did you know that Fan of the Year is presented by Captain Morgan? And Beamer's doing a Captain Morgan stance over there. He should be. He's doing it now.
Hey, there he is. There it is.
Welcome back to Talkin' Cowboys live from training camp in Oxnard, California. Boys, we have to talk about the most surprising things that happened in the game. And I don't want to say surprising in a good or a bad sense. I just want to talk about surprising. What surprised you the most? I'll kick us off in that seeing Tyler Booker on the sideline was a little confusing to me. Brian Schottenheimer just said yesterday in the press conference, young guys need to play. I was surprised Tyler Booker, a healthy scratch. Being healthy, I think one of the only 2 healthy first-round draft picks that did not play in their first preseason game. To me, it was, not that it's alarming, but it's like we should be seeing some of this guy. I was confused by that choice, but of course the coaches have what their minds made up about these things in advance. Hopefully he sees some action in the preseason. I was a little surprised by that. Were you guys?
I was, until Shotty clarified the thought process.
And what is that, Patrick?
The thought process was workload management in the capacity of guys like Tyler Booker did in fact see a lot of work in those offensive trenches 4 days prior against the Rams. So you gotta wonder if how much of that weighed into it. Now I will say, with that being the case, because as he was explaining, I was like, I don't entirely agree, but I don't entirely disagree either. But you won't be able to use that excuse again for week 2 in the preseason against the Ravens. So now, being that Shotty said that's the reason that Booker didn't play, now I fully expect Tyler Booker to play against the Ravens. Now, if that does not occur, now I'm back. We'll be home then. Then I'm in the studio asking the very big question, why are we avoiding giving? I don't care that he's the first-round pick. I know your injury protection and all of that, but he needs the reps. Period. We saw what happened to Tyler Guyton when he was unable to take reps last preseason because of an injury. Well, Tyler Booker is healthy, right? You want him on the field as much as possible so that he can try his best to hit the ground running when you go up against, guess who? The Philadelphia freaking Eagles. So I fully expect Tyler Booker to be on the field. We'll see what the coaches decide against the Ravens. But, if that's the reason that Shotty is given, I don't entirely agree. I don't entirely disagree. But now there's no reason based upon that to not play Tyler Booker against the Ravens.
I'll say I entirely disagreed with that. I think that he said it. Young guys need to play. Tyler Booker's young last time I checked, so he's a guy that just needed the reps, and he didn't. I'm not saying he needs to play the whole game. If you had put him out there for 2 drives, it would have ended up being 6 plays. And if you were like, all right, we're good after that, then I think I'd be somewhat okay. I think you maybe look for like 10 to 15, which is what guys like Donovan Ezaraku and Maris Leafau got. But the fact of the matter is, like this guy, yes, he had the joint practice, but it's not really a game environment, right? Like he's got to get a real game environment under his belt. And I don't know. They pay Brian Schottenheimer a lot more to make these kinds of decisions than they do me, but I just think you need to play him in that scenario.
But for a guy that hasn't seen the NFL field before, you probably want to give him as much chances as
you
possible,
can.
as humanly possible, to get him acclimated to that. Jesse, I kind of want you to your thoughts on this coming from an actual player in the NFL, please.
Yeah, one of the things I'm gonna get to your point. Let me make this left, 2 lefts, and 3 lefts make a right.
Okay.
So I watched and I listened to the players talk in this documentary last night. The Michael Irvin's, your Charles Haley's, your Emmitt Smiths of the world, right? And the way that they spoke, the way that they talked, and the way that that their locker room was constructed, right? There was a level of accountability. Even though they had their off the field stuff, when it came to football stuff, there was a level of accountability. And I look at the way that locker rooms and teams and players are built today. And I just think about, and Michael Irvin has said this, who the hell are these guys to not be playing in these games? Tommy, you said there was 30 guys?
37.
30?
That's combined injury
right.
and.
I'm hearing you,
right.
but I mean, I can name 15 that weren't.
That were healthy.
That were healthy.
They were healthy.
Right? I can name 15 and not include CD and Dak. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Who the hell are these dudes
Maris was out there
to not be playing? And I'm saying, now, I say Michael and Emmett and Charles because those are the type of guys that would have been Troy, would have been like, wait, I get why Michael's not playing. Kevontae Turpin, brother.
Yeah.
We like you a lot. You need to play.
You need to play.
Hey, coach. Wait, if I'm Dak, I'm saying to myself, hey, coach, we're not gonna get this young fella reps in Philadelphia. That's not what I want. That's what I don't want to find out in Philadelphia that he can't protect me.
Right.
I don't want to find out in Philadelphia where his deficiencies are.
And then New York.
Yeah. Right? I don't want to find out there, coach. Why is he not playing? What's happening here? If I'm defensively, if I'm Oso, if I'm Micah, I'm saying, hey, there's a reason why these other guys ain't playing out here. Why Sam ain't playing? Is he hurt? No. This is a guy who ain't been on the field healthy for us for a long time.
He needs the reps too.
I'm saying all that to say that we want to talk about culture change and we want to talk about things being different. That doesn't happen when you got 30 guys on the sideline in preseason game 1, and a lot of those guys should be playing in those games.
And to add to that point, for Tyler Booker specifically, all right, man, yeah, you're good for the preseason. Hey, first NFL game, go ahead. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are over there waiting for you.
Good luck.
It's man, you can't.
From Dak's perspective, if I'm CD, I'm saying, wait, if we're going to find out if Tyler Booker can block or not in week 1, if he ain't getting this job done, that mean Dak running around there crazy. That mean I ain't getting what I'm supposed to be getting off in this game on this opening night of football because there's an ego
Domino effect.
There's an ego in there, right? We're receivers. We have egos. I want to get mine, especially against those who they think are the best.
Yeah.
I want to shine in that game too. So it's he's not playing, so Dak ain't doing well, so now I ain't doing well. The running game ain't. Now things look a little bit crazy. So it's I expect different from Shotty, but I expect different from these veterans too. I expect them to be like, what's going on here? Now, maybe not say it publicly to us, but internally there should be some, what? You ain't been in no Pro Bowls? You ain't been all pro?
Yeah.
Last I checked, your salary ain't $60 million annually, $30 million. You know what I'm saying? You ain't about to be the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. Sorry, Siri. Millionaires.
Siri said you talking the bag. She want in. Siri tapped in. We start talking the bag.
That was my biggest thing. It was if we so much want what they had in the 90s, but we are unwilling to be and have that level of accountability that they had. Imagine Charles Haley looking down there and he's seeing that, name a backup. Coach, why is this bleep not playing? Charles might be like, yo, get your pads on. You're playing. I don't care what the hell that coach said. And I'm not saying that they got to be rogue.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that we want different results, but we keep going down the same path of of nonsense.
Overprotection.
Overprotection. You gotta play football, guys.
Overprotection.
Like, we gotta play football.
You're afraid of the inevitability of injuries. You're afraid of all those things, and that's understandable because it's happened a lot in our league. However, go ahead.
Shadi is the same one that said you have to build calluses. That is a quote. You can't build calluses on the sideline.
No.
And I'd argue he's been more physical. This team has been more physical out here on the practice field than they have in past years.
Agreed, because they also don't have nearly as many rest days as I've seen under the McCarthy era.
Exactly.
So that's perfectly true.
So, but it's one thing if you do it out there, but whenever the Rams come in here and they out physical you, and again, like you pointed out, they out physical you again on Saturday.
Because
that becomes the character.
You'll be trying to come physical with a group who ain't physical. So it looks different. It smells different. It feels different. It's always like, yeah, I'm in training. I'm doing all this kind of stuff. And then you walk out there against Prime Mike. It don't look the same.
No.
It don't feel the same.
You know what they're up against now? Harbaugh's front.
Absolutely. Boys.
What did we just say was the standard right now for physicality? Harbaugh's front.
Okay. Absolutely. All right, boys, that'll do it for this edition of Talkin Cowboys. We have to end the show. We have to say goodbye to Oxnard, California for Talkin Cowboys. Thank you so much for everybody. Thank you, Chris Beam. Thank you, Kyle Yeomans. Thank you, Isaiah Standback. Tommy Yarrish for stepping in. Thank you, Jesse Holley, for stepping in on this episode. For Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, we will see you next time from the Star in Frisco, Texas.
Back in Dallas.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?